We'll call to order the Board of County Commissioners meeting for Douglas County, Nebraska for Tuesday, September 30th, 2025. Please note that a copy of the Open Meetings Act is located on the north wall of the Legislative Chamber alongside an automatic external defibrillator. Please stand for the pledge. Our first order of business is the Douglas County Board of Equalization. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Borgeson. Commissioner Kavanaugh. Commissioner Fahey. Commissioner Friend. Commissioner Morgan. Commissioner Rogers. Mr. Chair.
Here. First, we have items A and B. A being the approval of the minutes of the Board of Equalization meeting held Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025. And B being a call for a meeting and set Tuesday, October 7th, 2025 as date for a hearing on certified assessment corrections reflecting the addition of omitted property to the tax rolls or increased value on property. Do I have a motion and a second? Motion to approve by Morgan, second by Rogers. Please vote.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. Next, we have our resolutions, which are C and D, which we can take in block plus adjournment if desired. Second. Motion to approve and adjourn by Rogers, second by Morgan. Is there anybody that wanted to comment on resolution C or D in equalization? If not, we'll vote.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. That adjourns equalization. We're going to jump into Board of Commissioners. Roll call.
Commissioner Borgeson. Commissioner Kavanaugh. Commissioner Fahey. Commissioner Friend. Commissioner Morgan. Commissioner Rogers. Mr. Chair.
Here. First, we have items 1A and B. A being the approval of the minutes of the Board of Commissioners meeting held Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025. And B being approval of claims submitted for payment process through Tuesday, September 30th, 2025. Do I have a motion and a second? Move for approval. Motion by Morgan, second by Rogers. Please vote.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. Next, we have our consent agenda under section 2, items A through H. Do I have a motion and a second for discussion? Second. Motion by Rogers, second by Morgan. I'm going to go to Commissioner Kavanaugh.
Quick questions for the record. On item D, resolution to approve agreement between Douglas County and Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services for detention services. And I see Mr. LaFleur is here from the Youth Center. Just for the record, the Youth Center provides essential services to, 90 of our youth currently, something like that. And I'm interested that folks know what this does.
Well, this takes care of payments for those youth who aren't.
Mr. LaFleur, can you identify yourself real quick?
Mark LaFleur, Douglas County Youth Center. These funds are to take care of those youth who are not on probation yet that come to the Youth Center. They're paid underneath the Department of Health and Human Services until those youth go through the court process and then are actually put on probation. So it assures that the county is being maintained for the services that are provided.
And I see there are a couple of amounts here. $225,000, renewal one total $250,000, total value $475,000. What's the period that these funds are expended over?
Over the past fiscal year and going into our upcoming fiscal year.
Okay. Thank you.
My pleasure.
You do great work.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner Kavanaugh. Anything else on your end?
The following one, which is just a definitional thing, item E, resolution to approve a memorandum of understanding between Boys Town National Research Hospital for hospitals participation in the 340B program. And I'm just looking for clarification of what the 34B program is. I think,
Yes, I can. Hi, this is Diane Carlson. I'm the Deputy County Administrator.
could you speak up just a little bit, please?
Sure. Diane Carlson, Deputy County Administrator. The 340B drug pricing program is a federal program that reduces, discounts the pricing of certain pharmaceuticals for eligible hospitals that provide services to indigent and underserved and underinsured residents of Douglas County. And so this MOU just sets forth Boys Town's pledge to continue to serve those types of individuals. And by doing that, they receive discounted pricing through the 340B program.
So do I understand correctly, this has the effect of reducing the cost of pharmaceuticals to people served by Douglas County?
Yes, it goes through the hospitals, though, that provide those services.
That's a good thing. Thank you. That's all.
All right, thank you. Anybody else on consent agenda?
Mr. Chair, if I may, just
Please.
wanted to note, the youth center has asked item G to be taken off the agenda. I think it's likely going to come back next week.
Okay, if the board's okay with that, we'll remove G from our motion. All right, Larry?
Good morning. Larry Storr, 5015 Lafayette Avenue, Omaha 68132. I'd just like to add my approval to an agreement with items D and E, but I'd also like to submit something for the record. That's on a little bit different topic, but there's not another chance to do that today, so. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on consent agenda? If not, we'll vote.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. We're going to move forward on our agenda here to section 5. We have one recognition / proclamation. Item A, which is a resolution recognizing October as Black Maternal Health Month, and I will toss it to Commissioner Rogers.
I'll read the proclamation and then move motion. Whereas a person's race should never determine their health outcomes, and most importantly, pregnancy and childbirth should be safe for all Americans. And whereas for women of color, especially Black women, safety and equity has been tragically disproportionate in comparison to the general population, and therein exists one of the single widest racial disparities in women's health. And whereas according to the Center for Disease Control, Black women are 3 times more likely to die from a pregnancy-related cause, and Black infants are more than twice as likely not to survive. And whereas multiple factors contribute to these disparities, such as variation in quality of health care, underlying chronic conditions, structural racism, and implicit bias, in addition, social determinants of health have historically prevented many people from minority groups from having fair opportunities for economic, physical, and emotional health. And whereas ensuring that all women have equitable access to health care before, during, and after pregnancy is essential. And whereas to improve Black women's maternal health, we need a comprehensive approach that addresses health across the lifespan, improves access to quality care, provides greater economic security to women, and uses policy to create system change. And whereas local organizations like I Be Black Girl are on the front lines, along with various partners across Nebraska, to address the inequities within the maternal health sector, and with a primary goal to expand access to quality, cultural relevant maternal health services. And whereas the CDC's National Hear Her campaign also seeks to raise awareness of urgent maternal warning signs during and after pregnancy. The campaign seeks to improve communication between healthcare providers and patients, and to provide the tools to better engage in life-saving conversations. And whereas all Nebraskans must raise awareness of the state of Black maternal health by understanding the consequences of systematic discrimination, recognizing the need for urgent solutions, amplifying the voices and experiences of Black women, families, and communities, and committing to build a world which Black women do not have to fear for their well-being, dignity, and lives before, during, and after pregnancy. Now, therefore, be it resolved by this board, the County Board of Commissioners of Douglas County, Nebraska, that this board hereby declares and recognizes the month of October as Black Maternal Health Month and encourages our residents to bring awareness, to hold meaningful conversations, find solutions, and utilize opportunities to change these tragic outcomes for Black women and infants. I move to approve.
Motion by Rogers to approve, second by Morgan. Any additional comments or questions? Commissioner Fahey.
Just want to thank Commissioner Rogers and IB Black Girl for their work on bringing attention to this too long neglected, important public health matter. So thank you.
Thank
I
you.
just know for the record, there is a representative from the organization here. She chose not to speak, and I just want to make sure she's recognized.
Very good. Thank you. Yes.
Larry Storr, 5015 Lafayette Avenue, Omaha 68132. I'd like to go on record as opposed to this ordinance. It needs to be reworded. I'll submit this to Dan for the record. I'd like to explain myself a little. I'm not opposed to help for anybody. However, I think all 7 of you have a misconception about what the President of the United States says when he wants to do away with DEI.
Larry, the topic is Black maternal mental health. It's not DEI.
Excuse me, Roger. This does border on the language of DEI.
No.
DEI. May I finish?
We're not going to have a rant about DEI today. If you want to talk about Black mental health, that's fine. Or excuse me, maternal health. All right. Very good. Anybody else on this resolution? Or excuse me, resolution? If not, we'll vote.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to section 7, which is public hearing. We have one item, item A, which is a resolution setting final tax rate for Douglas County at 29.059 cents and for Douglas County Library Fund at 2.524 cents. And I believe, Lori, were you going to comment on this one? But for the record, let me open up the public hearing. And Lori.
Good morning, Lori Persh, Chief Finance Officer for Douglas County. As you recall, we set the budget back in July, and in that budget, we had maintained a flat levy, so we did not increase or decrease the levy this year. And even with holding that levy steady, we had a slight shortfall, so we had to dig into the reserves for a few million. And we cannot ever set the actual final levy until after we have the certified assessed values from the assessor on the 20th and then the joint public hearing. So after the joint public hearing and before the end of September 30th, which is today, we have to set the final levy. And so we are doing that. There is a revised resolution that you're getting because the exhibits were labeled opposite of the way it was written in the original resolution. So Exhibit A was labeled as B and B was labeled as A. So I just changed the resolution to match the way that the exhibits were labeled. I think that's all I have.
Very good. Thank you. So this is a public hearing in which commissioners and the public can comment. So we will first go to Commissioner Kavanaugh.
Thank you. This will probably surprise no one, but I'm going to make a motion to reduce the mill levy. And based on some facts that we're all well aware of, first of all, the valuation of property increased, I think, about 6 or 7%. Mr. Goodwill is here to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's about right. We have millions of dollars, again, in lapse funds from departments all across the county. And we've had no finance committee hearings again to look for ways to cut out of the, I think it's $636 million or $646 million budget. Right there, okay. So I would propose that we make what is really a modest reduction from 29.059 to 29.000, which would overall not affect our expenditures. We have adequate reserves, and as everybody on this board knows, there are additional funds that we have become aware of that would more than cover any reduction of this size. So for all of those reasons, I would propose to reduce the mill levy and therefore reduce property taxes for property owners in Douglas County by 0.059 mils.
Well, I will loop back around to you, Commissioner Kavanaugh, once we close the public hearing. We can't take action yet.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Commissioner Friend.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I've been on the board, what is this, my 5th year? I mean, and Commissioner Kavanaugh's right, he does this every year. Lowering the rate to 29.000 would provide tax relief, sure, for a $300,000 home to the tune of maybe $90 a year. The state requires taxation by assessed valuation, and the Constitution has an offset of that, or a partner to that. You want to reduce property taxation? You want me to get on the soapbox, the brief soapbox? Change the way we tax property in this state. Do it. If you really want to get your hands around property tax, that's what you do. You don't come in. So look, I'll end it here. This particular issue, while not irrelevant, I mean, it's very relevant what Commissioner Kavanaugh is promoting. It's not impactful. A motion like this is also purely theater. It's theater. I could do it. I could say, oh yeah, sure, I'll give you a second. Nobody on this board is going to vote for it because it's irresponsible. We are not addressing the issue. Property taxes in this state are tough, they're brutal, and this particular piece of the pie does not impact it. One more time, doesn't impact it. You want to give real relief? Let's go down en masse to the legislature next year and let's tell them to cap the rate of assessment in each given year. Now, I don't think the assessor is going to like that. He may turn it, well, maybe he will. I don't know. It's all theater. You want to reduce property taxes, do it the right way. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions on this item? Commissioner Kavanaugh for a second round.
Yes, and I want to do a couple things. I commend Commissioner Friend and Commissioner Morgan for holding Finance Committee hearings, I think starting this afternoon, on a number of departments, which I've called for, again, for years, in order to find places where inside of our own budget, maybe we could find some savings. I don't know if we can or not, but I commend you for starting Finance Committee hearings for the first time in years. What I'm saying is, anybody wants to go and look into our budget, you're going to see a couple of things. The valuation of property in Douglas County went up 7%, which means if you leave the mill levy where it's at 29.059, everybody gets a property tax increase. Everybody's going to get a property tax increase of about 7%, depending on your valuation. If you look into our budget, and those documents are public record about what money each department, each elected official turned back to the county this year, you're going to find millions of dollars. And if you look into our discussions going forward, because they haven't happened publicly yet, you're going to find that there's other monies available in Douglas County that would allow for this very, very modest reduction. And I don't say that it's going to save everybody a lot of money, but it's a step in the right direction, to be instituted, giving people actual property tax reduction. And everybody talks about that. Nobody really does it. I did vote for a mill levy reduction, I think, proposed by Commissioner Friend in the recent past. And I'll vote every year, certainly if we don't have any finance committee hearings, to look for waste in our budget, for modest and well thought out property tax reductions like this one. You know, the legislature in its wisdom said, if you're going to play this game where valuations go up and the mill levy does the same, and you tell people, I didn't raise your mill levy, but you did raise their property tax, you're going to have to do that in public. And so a couple weeks ago, they had a hearing here to do just that. And this is just another example of people saying, you know, watch the ball over here when the ball's going down over here. And what's going down here is a property tax increase. So in order to make that not happen, or at least to alleviate it in some respects, we need to lower the mill levy. And I'm not saying the value went up 7%, so lower the mill levy 7%. I'm saying lower the mill levy by 0.059. Very modest, affordable reduction in people's property tax bills. That's what I'm advocating here. That's the motion I'm making.
Thank you. We'll loop back around once we close the public hearing for motions. With that, any other comments or questions during this public hearing on this item? If not, I will close the public hearing. As a courtesy, I'll loop back around to Commissioner Kavanaugh.
I'd move to amend this resolution to state that the mill levy for Douglas County, instead of being 29.059 mills for this coming year, be reduced by 0.059 mills. Therefore, the Douglas County mill levy would be 29.0 mills.
There's a motion made by Commissioner Kavanaugh as stated just now. Is there a second for that motion? Is there a second? Otherwise, we'll move on. Is there any other motions to be made? Motion to approve the resolution as revised. Very good. Second by, which was by Rogers, and then a second by Morgan. Comments or questions on that motion to approve? If not, we'll vote.
Motion passes 6-1. Commissioner Kavanaugh voting no. All other commissioners voting yes.
Thank you. That completes public hearings. We're going to move into committees. Under Section 8, we have first Finance with budget report as presented. We also have the Human Resources Weekly Personnel Report from Civil Service, also as presented. And today, we do not have a need for executive session, so I'll take a motion for adjournment. Motion to adjourn by Rogers. Any seconds? Second by Friend. Please vote.
Uh, Motion passes 6-0. Commissioner Morgan is absent at the moment. The meeting is adjourned at 9:25 a.m.